Alright guys, let's get right on to it. Today we're going to do a hero spotlight of Naga Siren featuring Arteezy. But before we get into it, just want to show you a quick couple micro tricks that Arteezy uses and a lot of other micro players use to use the hero a little bit better. So load up into a lobby real quick and show you some of the things that you should be doing when you are playing Naga Siren. So for the hotkeys, there's a couple things you can do. There's only really a few sets of hotkeys you need. First one is you're gonna want a hotkey where you have all your units selected together so you can move around. Another one is you want a hotkey where all your illusions are in a separate hotkey, right? And then the third hotkey you're gonna want to use is one that has your hero plus one illusion in the hotkey, and your hero just two illusions, sorry, and that other hotkey. And I'll show you later how this will come in handy. And the last thing you should probably know while playing Naga Siren is how to use tab control to help micro out your illusions a bit faster. So for me, my unit select hotkey is 1. For you, it might be F1. And what you do is you just press Q to summon your illusions. Then as you're on your main hero, you press tab, and you can see each time you press tab, it'll select a different illusion. So what this is good for is if you're farming on the map and you don't want to do all your units one by one and click one here, click one there, click one there to spread them out, you can very easily just be like this, here, it's I want one here, I want one here, and I want one here, and they'll all move just by hitting tab. But you have to be on your main unit selection to be able to use this feature. And that just about covers it as far as what hotkeys you need and how you need to micro. Now moving on into the game. All right, and this game is going to feature Arteezy playing Naga, one of his signature heroes, a hero that has been buffed a lot and several patches in a row now, and it's looking pretty strong right now. So first thing to note is what he does on Naga Siren that most likely you're not doing when you're playing this hero is he's using his illusions in the pregame. So in this situation, you'll see that he has illusions. He summons them soon. He sends 2 of them, and this is kind of the hotkey thing I was talking about. He's either tab targeting these up to top, or he's using his separate hotkey to have 2 illusions run to the enemy side of the map. So he wants to contest top lane with these 2 illusions for the runes, while also using his hero plus 1 illusion to contest bottom. As you'll see, they're trying to contest here. His Shaker is not on the same page, right? This is a pub game. He's not on the same page. Weaver tries to do some cheeky here. He dies for it, but the idea is very similar on how he's using these hotkeys. Then going into the laning stage here as well, you'll see something very important to note that he does a lot of games if you watch Arteezy play Naga. He will use 2 illusions to help his POS 5 zone out either the ranged POS 4, in this case is a Visage, he's very weak. If it was some Centaur or something, he probably wouldn't go on the Centaur, he'd go on let's say Centaur Hoodwink lane, right? Just a random scenario here. He'd probably send his illusions on the Hoodwink and have Bane just zone out the Hoodwink so he can get a 1 versus 1, and Hoodwink feels like they couldn't lane. In this case, Visage is a hero that has 1 armor, very low HP, very low armor. He wants to zone him out. In this particular lane, I believe the Bane should be helping him zone out the Visage. Not really right-clicking me. I mean, I'm playing Rubik this game, by the way. Just a random game I was in. And this Visage here, zoning him with Brain Sap. Visage couldn't lane. As you can see, the illusions, he's just sending them on the heroes, making space. And you're going to see that continuously throughout the laning stage on how he uses a hotkey with 2 illusions on it that he will micro and send to his Bane to help zone out enemy heroes. 2 illusions here to zone. Bane could be doing a much better job at playing aggressive here. And not stealing, KSing him as well, stealing his creeps. But 2 illusions are always just going to be on top of a hero. He's not really just sitting there in the lane, right? With all 4 illusions just hitting creeps, trying to farm with it. That'd just make it really easy for the Rubik to Fade Bolt and just get rid of illusions really quickly. But instead, every single time the illusions are up, he'll send them around here, around the long way, and either harass the Rubik or harass the Visage, and just help his POS 5 get a bunch of CS. And you'll see again, 2 illusions go out. They want to go away, go and harass. Keep 1 illusion with you to help you farm. Push out the lane. Yet again, Bane playing very, very passive in this laning stage. Could be using these illusions much better to apply much more pressure. You'll notice he doesn't want to drag the creep wave with his illusions either. Very careful. If you drag the wave over here, you're doing yourself no favors there, and it'll only just kind of make your laning stage very weird and clunky. All right, the next thing that Arteezy does very well when playing Naga Siren is he uses his illusions to body block you to help get extra right clicks in to get kills. And you'll see in this instance here. They go for the kill here on the Visage. They get it. He has power treads. Rubik has no boots, so he puts illusions in front to get body blocks off, so they can click down the Rubik and get some more kills, and feels bad. Using your illusions to help you get extra right clicks off that you otherwise like would not have got off is a very good way to play a lot of heroes that require micro, and it's like a Nature's Prophet trick. You can use it with Lycan. Naga is no different, and if you master the skill, you'll end up getting a lot of kills that you otherwise would not have been able to get by having good micro. And we'll see again how Naga here goes in. Attempts to body block. Here, he actually does get a little bit of a body block. Waits for the Grave Shield to run out and ends up getting another kill here. Obviously, it could have been a better body block, but it was good enough. There we go with the net again. Visage uses the Grave Chill. Arteezy uses the illusion to try and body block again. Unfortunately, it was the Grave Chill illusion, but you're starting to see like a pattern, right? Like whenever you get the opportunity, you should try after your net, or even before your net if you don't have net skilled, to use one of your illusions or your hero to body block them. So all your illusions / your hero can get more right clicks in and potentially get the kill. All right, so moving on next, we're gonna go to the skill build that he often does on this hero. In this particular game, you will see that at level 6, is when he got his first point in net. It's going to vary from game to game, like what build you want to do. Because some games, he'll go net at 4. I think net at 4 is the absolute earliest you can do it. You always want to max mirror image first. This will be, without a doubt, you want the cooldown on this. It increases like the image damage, of course, which is great. Like image damage is good, but the cooldown is what allows you to keep farming, keep pumping these illusions out. Basically keep your farm running and being Naga. Like keeping your illusions out is what makes Naga Naga. So you want to max this first every single game. At level 2, you want to always have a point in Riptide. Level 3, I want to say you also want to go into mirror image almost every single game, and this is where you get to decide. At level 4, you can put a point in a snare. It's really good. It's a 2.7 stun, right? It's not a stun, it's a root, but it's 2.75 seconds where they cannot move, and for 1 point, it's pretty big value. And if you look at Riptide and how this scales, like it goes, the minus armor goes up by like 2 to 4, which is nice, which is why some people would argue get the point of net at 6. However, at level 4, you can, if you're in a really easy lane where you think you can just get kills, this is what you want to put a point in instead, right? So like, you want to put 2 points in mirror image no matter what. At level 4, so you get to decide, do I want a point in snare or do I want that second point in Riptide? And that second point in Riptide, it's going to give you -2 armor and 5 damage on Riptide. It's okay. It's not bad. If like the greedy build is to go 4-0-4, I'm AFK farming, right? But like we're trying to find that balance of like finding some aggression in the laning stage while also being able to farm quickly. In this particular game, he decided he wants to go for, you know, more of a farm heavy build. We can go back to when he level 5. Showed like what his build looked like. So this is what his build looked like in the early game. So what he could have done here at level 4 was put a point in snare and go for some early kills, but he deemed it not necessary. So went for the extra 2 armor reduction, which is pretty big. But what you should keep in mind, and this is why like I don't think the armor reduction is like super important in lanes where you can get kills. Like I feel like they could have maybe killed Visage a bit earlier in this laning stage. It's not really a big deal. It's just like a small micro thing that Riptide does magical damage. Like they changed it. It's a very weird spell now. Like it does magic damage, but it reduces armor. So it's not amplifying the damage itself. So like in a lot of cases, like if it did 45 physical damage with 4 armor reduction, it's just making Riptide do more damage by reducing the armor. So the damage, regardless of the armor of the unit, is still going to be 45 magic damage when it procs. +2 armor, or -2 armor, sorry, reduction is only going to be a matter like if someone is just right clicking him. Sure, the illusions do a little bit, but they're kind of chipping at this stage of the game. It's mainly all just the Riptide proccing. So really just take that into consideration when you're playing Naga. At level 4, good time to get net. I think the absolute latest you can get net, you should get net, is level 6. And you'll see at level 6, he instantly skills it. And I think playing Naga, when you're talking about like item choices, skill build, specifically skill build, you want to be very greedy on this here. You want to be as greedy as possible without being useless. And by that, I mean like you want to ideally go 4-0-4, right? Because you're going to farm the fastest of that build, but you might also be useless in the sense where like your team could have got a kill if you had a point in net. Your team could have escaped if you had a point in Song of the Siren. As a Naga, you're not really doing much in the early game. So if you can help out here and there without sacrificing your farm too much, you should really try to do it. And you'll see in this game, in a lot of games, Arteezy does opt for level 6 and snare instead of level 4. He did get it level 4 before, but most of the time he will opt for level 6 to get it. And you're like, why doesn't he have his ulti at level 6? Well, the ulti doesn't really do much for you at this stage of the game. And this is what I mean by being greedy. Like, you want to delay even getting your ulti at all on this hero. He probably doesn't even want ulti until this is maxed, he has the talent, you know, and then he probably wants the ulti. But if there's a game where you absolutely need it to survive, to farm more, you're gonna have to use your brain and kind of like determine, like, there's no way I can do this. Since more games you play Naga, the better you'll get at being greedy with this hero. Obviously, Arteezy's like a master of greed on this hero and knows exactly how far he can push his limits, and that's going to be up to you guys to also find that for yourself. And I'm here to help you guys along on that path, right? So ideally, perfect world is 4-0-4. Most of the time, 90% of the time, you can't do that without being an absolute burden. So I'll say point of ensnare at 6. I think skipping your ulti is completely fine. I don't think getting this before like even level 8 or level 8, you don't even need to do in most games, unless you're using it for an aggressive purpose. Keep that in mind with the skill build. As far as the talents go, for Arteezy, he always goes Riptide damage, the mirror image damage, the mirror image illusion, and then I think the level 25 talent is going to be very dependent on the game. And by that, I can help you out a little bit. So let's give you an example of, there's a game where your illusions just can't die. Right, it's just a god tier Naga game. They can't kill your illusions. I think the 7 Riptide armor is great because your illusions are permanently up anyways, and they just can't kill them. Let's just say you're playing versus a Zeus, or in this particular game, like a Sven. Your illusions are dying pretty fast, so having the -10-second mirror image cooldown could be good to keep popping them out as they're dying. Very important to always have your illusions out when you can. Keep that in mind. It's going to be very game specific for your level 25. All right, on to some like little tips and tricks here. You'll always want to buy power treads on this hero, every single game. And something you can do, which you see he did not do there, and I'll show you later on he does do it. You start on intelligence treads, and then you hit the hotkey, right, once to switch to agi. And what that'll do, basically you do have intelligence treads when you cast it, right? But as it spawns, you'll get agility treads. So you will get agility treads for the price of intelligence treads, if that makes sense, right? So basically you start intelligence treads, so it costs less mana to summon, but you can do one action command during the summoning of the illusions, so you'll then get the end result of agility treads, as you'll see. All right, I think he does it here now. See, power treads are on intelligence, and he toggles right there. And I'll go ahead and show you guys in a lobby real quick what that looks like. All right, so you go to your treads hotkey, you start your power treads on intelligence, and then as you're in the animation, as Naga like puts her arms up in the air like this, you press your hotkey once, and they will come out as your illusions and your hero as in, agility treads. So this is very important to do every single time you cast mirror image for mana efficiency, because this hero has very big mana problems from spamming mirror image. As you'll see in the games with Arteezy playing, he'll constantly be low mana and have to ferry out either clarities, by raindrop, by Basilius. He had Falcon Blade queued up at the beginning of the game because he knew he might have some mana problems. The more you use your intelligence treads to switch into agility treads trick with your mirror illusions, the more mana you will be saving. All right, let's move on to what I think everybody wants to know, and that is the farming patterns for Naga Siren, or just the way Arteezy thinks about farming with Naga Siren in specific. So you're gonna notice in this particular game, it's 9 minutes 55 seconds in the game. Now I come up here, I deward him, so he doesn't particularly feel safe anymore. He sees Sven, his left top lane. There's just a tree there. Huck, he has no TP, but he just picked up a bottle illusion rune. He could have a TP coming in the courier any second now. He doesn't, but he doesn't know that. He's got stacks in the jungle. And also, I should note, Visage just hit level 6 as well, right? So even though Naga is good versus Visage, Visage always has a power spike, I guess, at level 6. So he's going to farm some stacks and chill. And what he does here is very smart, and I would recommend as well. Always bait your POS 5 to defend the tower when it's risky. Because you'll see all the spells were used on the Bane here instead of the Naga. And then the Naga just comes in to clean up because there's no spells on Dire now to deal with the Naga. And if he were to stay here on Naga, what would happen is they would use all the spells on Naga. And what would that mean for Naga? That would mean Naga would get low HP, probably wouldn't get any of those kills, have to go heal, slow down your farm efficiency a ton. Meanwhile, Bane baited this fight. Sure, he has to go heal too, but he's POS 5. He doesn't really care. He's gonna go to base, he's gonna go smoke, and he's gonna go make a play. So you always want to have like your pos 5, pos 4, anyone but you pretty much if you're the carry player, to like take the aggro of like whatever it might be, the gank, you know, the tower pressure. It doesn't really matter at that point. Like you just want to come in later, and he did a really good job of like making sure his Bane took like the brunt of the attack, and then he came in after when there's no spells, cleaned up a bit. And what's really important to note here is what happens after all of this. As you'll notice here, Weaver is the offlaner in this game. He's TPing in, he TP's bottom, right, to help get these kills. So as a carry player, what is your best course of action, right? Like your offlaner just TP'd to the safe lane. What I don't want you guys to do is what happens a lot in my games. You go to the lane as an offlaner, you have no TP on this Weaver. You're stuck here. You can run back if you want, but that's a really sad walk of shame, right? So Arteezy realizes that immediately and decides, okay, I'm going to TP to where Weaver came from, and we're basically just going to swap lanes. So he TPs up and swaps with the Weaver, saying, all right, this is your lane now, Weaver. You TP down here, you ganked for me, you secure this tower. Here's your reward. The rich get richer. You're going to farm here, and I'm going to go to where you were, and I'm going to farm. And so for the farming patterns for Arteezy in this game, is he's going to come here to the triangle. He's going to farm this triangle before 12 minutes. Make sure he gets all the creeps here. Goes on respawn, he's going to farm it again. Now he's going to go to Weaver's lane. Shove out Weaver's lane. This is something Naga's incredibly good at compared to most heroes. This hero lane shoves super quick, so you can farm multiple spots at once. He's going to farm medium camp. Or sorry, the small camp. Try to farm the big camp, but there's a tree here. I mean, a little bit of harass here. Creeps respawn. There's no camp. Sad. Fuck TP's in. Whatever. But the main focus of him is, I think he wants to clear the triangle. It's not even a triangle anymore. It's just whatever you want to call it. Just the big camp and the ancients now. He's going to farm the big camp and the ancients off cooldown every minute. And for every like illusion he has left after these are cleared, he's going to go farm top if it shoves in. Or there'll be a secondary option that you'll see soon. SVG here is blocking the big camp, so he can't farm, being annoying on the tree and protector. So he wants to farm these two camps now. And he's going to go back to the triangle now. All right, 2 camps farmed. Straight back to the triangle to farm, trying to get his Manta style. So what we're noticing, if you're in a position on the map where you're in like the triangle area, which you'll often be in, right? You want to prioritize killing this camp, pushing top lane out when applicable. And here's the cute thing you can do if top lane isn't pushable. He just sends 2 illusions to go farm the enemy, just like primary jungle here, these 3 camps. So he's farming here, here, here. As top lane comes in, farming here as well. And you're going to notice things vary a little bit depending on the situation of the game, right? So he ideally wants to farm out here, this big camp, these 2 camps, maybe cut waves here. But you're not always going to be able to do that, right? Because the enemy team might be there. So you're just going to take what you can, where you can. Another tip for you guys for playing Naga Siren, and something Arteezy does, knowing where to put your hero in the fight. And what he does incredibly well is like he keeps his hero like max distance to cast Diffusal, to cast Manta style, his net, whatever it might be. He'll never commit, like you'll see how he doesn't run his hero in and start right clicking this Visage here, because that'll put his hero in danger, in jeopardy of like getting jumped and dying. So he's gonna max range his hero so he can still be annoying, stay in EXP range, get Diffusals, get nets off. And then if there's ever a situation where like it's a guaranteed kill and he's not gonna be in danger, then he'll move his hero in and go for right clicks. And we can watch that again in like full speed on like how he's kind of like taking this fight. And I'll even put it in his perspective. This is his perspective here of what's going on here. He puts his illusion on him. He doesn't want to get too close. He's never gonna go in too close. He gets the diffusal blade off, gets the net off, lets the illusion do its work. Visage doesn't know what to stun. Then after the stuns are down, realizes this is a free kill. He moves his hero in to get the right clicks. So you never want to just like rush your hero in to just start right clicking and just be grouped up for like some big Sven stun or something and get owned. I mean, when you're playing versus Rubik too, you also probably don't want to give sleep away, or this might happen. But what you can do, this Rubik was just a Giga Chad. At the end of the day, there's not much you can do about stuff like this. You just die. You'll kind of see here again, keeping his hero max range, and Pudge misses his hook, which is unfortunate. Goes back in to get the Diffusal Blade, just kind of like kiting him around to the best of his ability. One last example here, same thing. Moving the illusions in. Keeping his hero at max distance here. Doesn't want to commit his hero. Kind of like seeing how the fight is playing out from a distance here. No commitment yet. He doesn't want to run his hero into this. This could be a disaster for him. So he will wait. Max distance here. He's out of range of getting root here. You'll see the tree and doesn't know what's going on. So he ends up just rooting some illusions. Meanwhile, still max distance here on Naga. Not really wanting to join the fight. Realizes most of the spells are down. Will now go in with his hero. Max distance, throws a net. He's chilling. Still kiting, still kiting. And then now, big echo, commitment comes now. Now the Naga will go in. So to reiterate, again, to play a good Naga Siren, you have to be very patient on when to bring your hero in. Your hero is mainly going to be a source of casting net and Diffusal Blade from a distance, letting your illusions just go in until you find the right opportunity to move your hero in. And you should only move your hero in when it's completely safe to do so. And I think the last thing to note for Naga Siren here, what Arteezy does is going to be the item build. He has a pretty standard item build for the most part. He goes Manta first in pretty much every single game. And after Manta, it's into the Diffusal Blade. Then after the Diffusal Blade, Heart of Tarosk. After Heart of Tarosk, generally speaking, will be the Bloodthorn. There are some games where he went for an Ags. This game he went Ags after the Heart. And I think that's just mainly because he's playing versus Sven, right? And he wants to kite him. But stick to that generic item build, weaving in Ags instead of Bloodthorn in some games where it's necessary. And I think you'll have a pretty big, you'll see like a big increase of like your performance on Naga Siren and probably your wins. So that's pretty much it for this game. I think there's not much else to go over. Like, this game is now a stomp. Naga's out of control on the net worth chart. Couldn't really do much at this point. Visage went AFK, destroyed his items because he lost all hope. Cowering in fear from the Arteezy Naga. Demoralized him. And yeah, and follow those steps and you guys will get a lot better at playing Naga, I guarantee it. Let me know what you guys think, and if you try it out, let me know what your progress is and if you notice an increase in your own performance. All right, see you guys later.